everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are safe, you are well, and you are with someone you care about who also cares for you. We have had a very busy week here at the channel. We also took Friday off, so I'm actually recording this a day ahead of schedule compared to when I normally record it. We wanted to take part in the May Day protests and try and avoid all kind of financial activity as much as we possibly could. So that's what we've done. So I hope that this video gets out in time because we're kind of rushing to finish it. But we've had lots of different things happen this week that have caused a little bit of behind the scenes headaches. In case you didn't watch the video on the truck, I know not everybody will. They'll see the truck and go, I'm not watching that. We had a bit of problems associated with my F-150 Lightning and the accident that it was involved in February in California. Turns out the first repair shop I took it to said that wasn't a problem, and it turns out that there was. So we're going to have to get that looked into and repaired. Luckily, the insurance company are on our side, so yay. But all of that has been rather complex to do, and we only noticed it because I was customizing my truck. Which brings me, see, I'm very good at this. Brings me to the topic of today's video. Have you customized your EV? And if so, what did you do? I'm going to see Lucy Darling in a couple of weeks and I cannot wait. What did you do? I wanted to go as Queenie. I wanted to dress up as Queenie Deerheart and go and meet her afterwards, but the tickets were like $300 and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that just to dress up as a giant fluffy animal and go and see her her opposite in the human world. Anyway, where was I? Oh, hello ADHD. You've been absent all day because you've been hyper-focused. Anyway. Yeah, have you modded your EV? What have you done? So I have friends who, bless them, will not touch their EV, will not touch their car, especially if it's under warranty, because they are worried, even in the US, even with a Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, that if they do anything different to their vehicle, if there is a problem, the dealership, the garage will go, no, we're not covering it. And the warranty people will go, no, we're not covering it. And I think that's a fairly valid and understandable approach to have. But I also want to very plainly acknowledge that there are many things you can do to customize your vehicle without physically changing your vehicle. I'm talking interior mods. Maybe you put in some fancy new mats, rubber mats or carpet mats. Maybe you 3D printed a center console for your car to organize all your stuff. Maybe you're like me and you 3D printed a custom accessory that holds your NACS to CCS adapter. I've got one of those. I downloaded the 3D model online and printed it, and it works a treat. Perhaps you are in a position where you're like, you know, I wanted to add an illuminated charge port door. I'm looking over at my Bolt because that's a car that doesn't have an illuminated charge port as standard, and a lot of people add them as aftermarket accessories. Perhaps you've added a tow hitch to your EV because it doesn't come from the factory with one as an option, and you're like, I know it can tow, and maybe where you live they're not super strict about such things, and so you're able to put a tow hitch on. Maybe that's what you've done. Maybe you've modified the lights. I am a little leery of light modifications. I know I've got some for my Bolt. I try to steer clear of driving light modifications, i.e. your main headlights. I do have a set of spare ballasts and LED bulbs from my Bolt. They are supposedly ones that operate very much like the original halogen, but the halogen bulbs are kind of difficult to get hold of. And, you know, GM parts for our vehicles are starting to become less common. I found out the other day there's some part or other in the Chevrolet Bolt that is no longer made. and is no longer available. And if your vehicle needs one, then it sucks to be you. And I can't for the life of me think what it is. Oh, it's something to do with the brake system. I think it's the brake controller, actually, if memory serves. If you're a Bolt EV owner, let me know if I'm right in the down below. But it's only for certain model years of Bolts. So if you have newer Bolts, I don't think you have to worry. It's only like the original OG 2017, 2018 ones. But again, bit of a pain in the butt, especially if you're still paying on your car, which many people I know are. Perhaps you've got a pickup truck like I have. Perhaps you've put in a bed rug or something similar, or a custom tonneau cover. Perhaps you have put in fog lights on your EV. I am a total fan of fog lights. I don't have a problem with people putting fog lights on, as long as they use them when it is actually foggy and they don't just use them to blind everybody else on the road. That's a big thing. Perhaps you have put in an illuminated badge, which is illegal in some countries and not in others. So maybe you put one of those on. Maybe you put some custom firmware on your EV. Maybe you've got an old EV like I have, a 2007 Vectrix maxi scooter. I would categorize putting new batteries in as a customization if the batteries are not the OEM spec batteries. If you have a City L, and I know at least 2 people I think who watch this channel have them, maybe you put lithium ion batteries in instead of the original lead acid. That counts as a modification. Maybe you have upgraded your EV from a standard 3-pin prong outlet to one that will work with a modern EV charging station. I would love to know all of the modifications and tweaks and hacks and little bits and bobs that you've done. I've done plenty of mods over the years, all of the ones I've listed pretty much, with the exception of the headlights. I put lithium ion in my City L before I sold it. Obviously I'm working on my Vectrix. I'm putting in a new charger on my Vectrix, so increasing the charging speed. But I've also done kind of cosmetic mods, right? So I did the light up logo on the front of my truck. I've put something on my EV, on my truck, that you will see tomorrow if you're watching this on Sunday. There is a review that is dropping tomorrow. And the review is the reason we learned about the break of the frame at the very back of my truck. So thank you to that company who sent me that product to review. It's due to drop tomorrow. I'm being intentionally cryptic because it's not going to publish until tomorrow. And no, said company hasn't seen the review. So it will go live on Monday for Patreon supporters, and it will go live on Tuesday for everybody else. And the company who supplied the product I have tested and installed and reviewed, they get to see it at the same time as everybody else, because that's our editorial policy. Anyway, let me know in the down below. I hope the all weekend has been a good one thus far. If you have some time off, I hope that you have some peaceful time to spend with people who are important to you. And if you are among the many hundreds of thousands of people suffering right now because of the current global where we're at and what people are doing to each other, hang in there. I hope it will get better, and I genuinely believe it will. That's how I keep going every day. Thanks for being the important positive change that we want to see in the world. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on either side. Don't forget, you can support them. You can send us Ko-fi, you can send us an old-fashioned check, you can support us on YouTube, you can support us on Patreon. You can just share our content and interact with us on social media. It all helps. Stay safe, and until next time, keep evolving.